Go live on YouTube also.
Oh my goodness!
You are looking live at
Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Go live on YouTube also. And I'm Chris. You can get me at Chris B. Giannini. Just had to get this thing shared out. Oh, that's no good.
Hold on.
One of the reasons it took me so long to share it out is because I had to turn my volume down because I heard it immediately. I heard it.
Let's see. Hold on. It's working.
I heard it immediately. I hear it right now. I heard it. Turn the volume up, baby. Oh, we can't hear Gary. Yeah, that is right. I did hear just me. Is your speaker plugged up?
I'm in. I'm good.
Okay.
There. All right. Let's try it now.
Oh, we can't hear Gary. Yeah, that is right. I did hear just me.
That's interesting.
Is your speaker plugged up?
That's it. I'm in. I'm good.
There you go.
All right. Now it's got me.
Let's try it now.
That's what?
Every time we try to go live, something goes wrong.
That's new. That's a brand new thing because normally it just runs right through the app and we don't have a problem. All right, so rundown again of what we're going to talk about. This is Winning Cures Everything, all that kind of mess. I went through this whole shindig. We'll kind of restart it to let you know. Winning Cures Everything, every day, 10 to 15 minutes. Sports show. We talk about anything that is entertaining in basically men's world, right? Andy Ruiz defeats Anthony Joshua. The NBA Finals are tied 1-1, so we're going to talk about the Raptors and the Warriors. We're going to talk about Gerald McCoy signing with the Panthers and what that means. And Khabib Nurmagomedov is back. He's fighting Dustin Poirier at UFC 242. We're going to talk about that and whether boxing is trying to overtake UFC, et cetera, et cetera. The show, as always, brought to you by BetNow.eu. Go check it out for yourself. It's a badass online sports book. They've got great odds, a great layout, everything you're looking for, perfect for recreational gamblers. So go check it out yourself. BetNow.eu. You use promo code WINNING50. They will give you a 50% deposit bonus. You can see it right at the bottom of the screen. BetNow.eu. Go check it out. Chris, how are you, my brother?
I'm good, my man.
Things are going well, I believe.
Yeah. Busy, running. That's good, though.
No, it's definitely good. It's definitely good. We're staying busy. Both of us got jobs that are keeping us to the grindstone, obviously.
They pay the bills, though.
They definitely pay the bills. So we need them. If this thing blew up to where we had, a million listeners a day,
yeah,
that'd be fine.
People will tell your friends.
Exactly. So
you
share
can
it out.
Gary and I have to work day jobs.
We average about 500 viewers a day between all of our platforms. If every one of those shared it out, just with one other person.
Well, not just shared it out, but made one other person listen to it.
You make one other person listen, whether it's on the podcast, on Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. You make one other person listen, you all good on that. Like
That's right.
I'm telling you, you would quadruple what we're doing. It'd be awesome. It would double it, but still, somebody would tell somebody. Either way, let's jump into the first topic. Andy Ruiz Jr. That's a man's man, is what that is.
That's my guy right there.
I feel like that is every dad bod guy's guy. Because
no question about it.
He made believers out of everybody. Look, that guy's got some quick hands. He lays down Joshua in the 3rd round twice, and then he lays him down in the 7th round for good. It was twice again. But
that's right.
Man, and now did you watch the fight, or did you just see like the sequences?
I saw all the highlights, all the knockdowns. I will tell you that DAZN had a great day, and I loved that they shared this thing out like crazy. You know, we used to live in a day and age where everybody was so afraid to share their content. Even like UFC wouldn't share like the finishes. Like you couldn't see the end of the fight. They'd show you clips throughout it, but they would never share out like how it finished.
Well, and then they try to get everybody shut down that was sharing it.
That's right. And then DAZN was like, no, sir. We're pumping this thing out. We're putting our logo on the bottom of it. We're telling you, if you think this is exciting, come download DAZN, stream with us, and check out the content we got, because we're giving it to you. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it was amazing.
Oh, yeah. So I've got DAZN for now. I mean,
I'll got it. Yeah.
I got it for this fight.
That's right.
I got it for this one. I sat and watched the whole thing, and it looked early on. I'll tell you where Anthony Joshua went wrong. He tried to be Deontay Wilder. And he ain't got the same kind of power that Wilder's got. But after Wilder knocked out Brazil, like last month, in that first round with that one punch, that's what Joshua was trying to do here. And Ruiz is a better boxer than Brazil was.
No doubt.
Just the way it is. So all that stuff goes on. And when Joshua couldn't get that knockout, he kind of got gassed. It looked like he didn't even really prep for this fight.
See, everybody says that, man. Like, you got gassed fighting a guy that is substantially in worse shape than you. No, you don't get to use that as an excuse.
I'm with you. It's not an excuse.
He got his ass beat. You know why you were tired? Because you were getting your ass whipped. That's why you got tired. Yeah, I get tired when somebody's punching me in the face too. Like, it's a lot harder to breathe when somebody's beating you about the head. Okay,
Ruiz destroyed him.
Yeah,
destroyed him.
I mean, he beat him from top to bottom. So the one negative, I think this is great for boxing. I think it's great for DAZN. I think it's great for everything about the sport. But the one negative is what this does is it shows you the two best guys that supposedly were the big heavyweights that we were waiting to fight. We see how flawed the sport is still, in the sense that they have been allowed to handpick, cherry pick every opponent. They've been super careful and super cautious about who they fight, when they fight them. And then you get a guy that can't fight, so a month out, this new guy throws in. You don't really get to handpick this guy, but you're also not really worried about him. And the one guy you didn't personally vet and select very carefully.
He personally selected him too. Like, that's the issue.
He personally selected him too, but it was his second choice.
Yeah, it was a last minute kind of. You know how he got the fight, right? You heard how he got it.
Well, what's his name? Yeah,
Instagram DM. Like, that's it. Ruiz, when the other guy had to drop out.
How he invited the guy.
That's it. So yeah, So Andy Ruiz and his manager DM'd Eddie Hearn on Instagram and said, "Hey, we want the fight. Like, I just got done with this, and look, he's got a legit record. His only loss,
that's right,
was to a champion. So, he said, I want the fight. I'll do it. I'll be there in 6 weeks. Like, he just fought 6 weeks ago.
I was just about to say, he just fought 6 weeks ago, and he only had 6 weeks to prepare and train for this one. There's no reason. One of the reasons I grew up liking boxing, when I got to watch it as I was younger, and then the older I've gotten, we've kind of gone to MMA more than boxing, is it truly is a sport where the underdog has a chance. In basketball, at no point in time will the underdog, will a team that's in the middle of the pack ever really win a championship. It's just never going to happen.
NCAA tournament, yeah, because it's one game. right? That you
But
can
they
see
can't
a
win
7 seed.
championship. They can't win a championship. They can make it to Sweet 16.
You can see a 7 seed like UConn make it and win a championship. You can see Butler get within a shot, but
that's right. They can all make a run. In boxing, it's not a 7-game series. It's not a playoff grind. It's we're in the ring, and if you lower your hands for just a second and I catch you with one punch, it's over.
Yeah.
If I catch you in MMA, if I catch you with a kick or a knee or elbow, whatever, it's lights out.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody really can beat anybody if you're not focused at every second of the fight.
Now, I'll tell you what good this does for boxing, right? Because you were talking about how they're cherry-picking opponents and they're waiting and they just kind of keep hovering, and they were trying to let the Joshua Wilder fight simmer for a little bit. No. You can't do that. One, because there's significantly less money on the table now than there was. Everybody wants that goose egg, right? They all want that 0 next to their name.
That's right.
But once you lose the goose egg, you got nothing to lose anymore. So maybe we can actually start getting Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury, another Fury Wilder, another, all these,
whatever,
all this stuff that we want to see, right?
We start getting more fights.
Yeah.
Here's what boxing really needs, and what sucks is ESPN has some guy signed, and DAZN has some guy signed.
That's making it a problem.
Yeah, we need some type of league to say, no. You guys are all fighting under this umbrella. Everybody's going to make money. Everybody's going to fight. We're going to sell the TV rights. DAZN can have some. ESPN can have some. NBC, whoever wants them, we'll start selling rights to. We'll pay-per-view these things. But you make, and then you make fights. You kind of do what Dana White's done is, no. You're the best, and you're the runner-up. No, you're next in line. You get a fight. And there's no backing out of it. If you back out, you give up the belt. Give me the belt, and I'm going to give it to him.
And so WBC and the WBO, WBA, all of these, they have their mandatory challengers. So if you don't already have something lined up that is of greater value, then they are going to make you fight these mandatory challengers, right? So, Dominic Brazil, he was actually a mandatory challenger. That's how that goes. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to go about this now, because that fight between Wilder and Joshua is not worth near as much as it was before. It's still a big-time fight, especially if...
I see, and you're right. It's not going to get the normal eyes that maybe it wouldn't have gotten, but I think people who like boxing are still going to tune in. I think it's still going to be a big fight if we can see Joshua get off his butt, get in shape, and really prepare for a fight.
And see, that's... How funny is that to say? I mean, that dude looks like friggin' Adonis, right? He looks like a Greek god, and we're talking about how he's not in shape.
But
that's insane.
I don't know if the guy smokes 2 packs a day or what, but he didn't have the lungs, man.
Oh yeah, he couldn't handle it.
He did not have the lungs.
I will tell you this:
he immediately lost.
That was his first fight in America. The next fight between these two, they've already announced that there will be a rematch. It's either going to be in November or December, and it will be in the UK.
That's right.
So, of course, I find it funny that these contracts are made up to where, okay, next go round, I still get to set all the rules, even though you beat me.
That's it's something that bothers me greatly. You know how I feel about this. The big boys always get to make the rules. Those who have the power make all the rules. Therefore, those who have no power get to make no rules, and all the rules are set up to keep them from ever getting power. It's why I hate the NCAA. But it's just, it is the game that it is. If Ruiz goes there and he beats the brakes off him again, then no one could call it a fluke. No one could call it an upset. And now power goes to Ruiz. And Joshua, you're a dude. Get in line, go fight somebody else, whatever. But these belts are mine.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. I am curious because this is what Eddie Hearn was doing, right? He knew Josh was pretty good, but he may not be ready for a Wilder or Fury at this point. And I've always believed that they were dodging Deontay Wilder, because Wilder is still on a smaller level, right? Overseas, Joshua is this massive superstar, sells out Wembley Stadium, 70, 80,000 seats every time he fights, but he's only had like 22 fights. Like he's still really young, all this kind of stuff. And, Wilder, he has fought all of the best heavyweights other than like Joshua, and he didn't get to fight Klitschko because Klitschko retired.
I was about to say he retired.
Yeah, so like he has fought all of the ones that are active right now, and the only one left was Fury and Joshua. Wilder's not ducking anybody. Like he wants the belts, he wants the 0 next to his name.
He's been pretty comfortable.
Yeah. He's
been very selective on who he fights too, though.
He has been selective,
and when he fights them.
Yeah, like I think he is.
This is. Let's not put it against anybody else, okay?
I'm gonna put it against Joshua because that Wilder fight should have been made before.
That's right. The proof is in there now.
Yeah,
but
the Wilder fight should have been made. It would have been massive, absolutely, and it'll still be big, but it won't be near what it was.
Listen, this is no different than Floyd Mayweather's entire career is this.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I'm not going to fight De La Hoya until De La Hoya is 40 years old. I'm not going to fight
Pacquiao till Pacquiao's 40.
40. Like I'm going to wait and fight all these stars. Or if you've got the young up-and-comer kids, I'm going to fight them super early. That way they haven't progressed. They haven't built their they haven't learned all the tricks that they know.
Yeah.
They haven't worked their technique out, and I can beat them real quick and then say, oh, but I beat that guy. And then he goes on and wins 20, 30 fights in a row, and his only losses to me. And I've got this incredible record. You cherry pick when you fight, who you want to fight at all times. And you can hold all the belts you want. You can hold all the time. You can have that goose egg next to your name. I just don't respect it. I don't care.
No, it's tough to respect any of them.
That fights anybody, gives us a good fight, isn't afraid of anyone, and they're not afraid to lose. That's fine. Sometimes you walk into the ring and you get knocked out.
Yeah. I'm pumped. Like I got DAZN for a month, right? It's a monthly thing. You can cancel it after whenever. But Triple G fights this weekend against Steven Rolls.
That fight's coming up.
Yeah. So and then they announced that I think they're going to do Canelo and Triple G September 14th.
If you like fighting, you're going to keep DAZN. It's just it. Like it's one. I don't know all the other things that are on it, but if you like boxing, you're keeping it because you want the content.
Well, and if you like boxing, you're also going to get ESPN Plus because they got the Top Rank and UFC stuff. So like,
that's right.
You like these combat sports? The streaming apps are right there for you. I mean, it's perfect. Right. All right, let's jump off that. Let's talk about the NBA Finals for a little bit. You watched games 1 and 2?
I did.
So I went to watch Godzilla last Thursday, and I got home just in time for the second half. But now I had the whole thing DVR'd, and I sat up afterwards and watched all of it. But, man, the Raptors have got to be absolutely sick that they did not get that done the other night because with all the injuries and all that, Game 2 was ripe for the taking.
Yeah, it was. But those injuries aren't changing. Those guys aren't coming back. I just don't think they are. I know people think KD's coming back now and this, that, and other. I don't. I think he knows he's not going to be on this team, and so he doesn't care. If they get a ring, he's going to get one. And if they don't, he's going to go to New York. That's just my opinion. It's my feelings. I know that Klay Thompson is like Bill Simmons and Joe House were talking about this after the game the other night. He's like a modern day like Brett Favre. Like he tore his rotator cuff. Yeah, he's still out there. Oh, he sprained his ankle. Yeah, he's still playing. I don't know that he's going to keep going. I've never seen somebody heal from a major hamstring injury like that in 3 days. It wouldn't surprise me, but even if he's on the court, I don't know. This is going to be Steph Curry's Swanson. This is going to be his masterpiece. If they win this one,
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Let me.
Steph is going to be. This could bring him to LeBron Jordan level for people who are his demographic, who've only watched basketball for 10 years because they've only been alive for 15.
Yeah,
and those people are going to say, "Man, this is something special."
Now, the odds are that Draymond Green is actually going to end up being the
MVP.
The MVP. and he has played like it, right?
I completely agree with that.
But now I'm very curious because they've got all these talented players. Right? DeMarcus Cousins played out of his mind the other night. KD might come back. Klay Thompson, we don't know. Andre Iguodala, had an injury in game 1 but looked good last game. Do they need could they just put a bunch of bums around Draymond and Steph and be good?
I don't know if they could put bums, but they could just put role players that don't have to dominate the game and can halfway play defense.
I think you could trade Toronto's bench for the guys that are injured, and the Warriors would still be dominant. I think it is Steph and Draymond, and it
somebody
doesn't
has
matter.
to step up for Toronto outside of Kawhi. Just somebody has to.
Well, Kyle Lowry he's got to score, and he's got to quit playing stupid.
I was gonna say he's literally, I would say he's worthless. He's actively harmful right now.
Yeah.
Siakam, first game, we didn't talk about that, and you weren't on to talk about it afterwards. Yep. Whatever. That dude, that game, that was special. That was one of the most impressive performances I've seen by a guy that's just, he's a dude. He's an NBA player. He's good. People in the league know who he is. And he's had 30-point games in playoffs this year so far. I didn't see him doing what he did in game 1. He dominated that game. He broke the will and the spirit in the third quarter when Golden State normally just does what they do, which is this is where we take over. This is where we go on 15, 20-point runs. You can't stop us. And we're just, something happens on defense and you just don't score anymore. And Siakam was like, look, I can't stop you from scoring. They caught up a lot, but every time down when they needed a basket, he was there to get it.
Yeah.
He was there to get it over and over and over again. And somebody has to take that role over at least one of these games in Golden State. Kawhi cannot do it by himself. And he's hurt as well.
Yeah, he's hurt as well. Do you think that the Raptors can pull out a win in Oracle, or is this thing done?
No, I absolutely think they can win one of these 2 games. And once again, my mentality is I don't think we're seeing KD. So that's just it.
They said he's coming back in game 4, or it looks like it
to come back. Looking like it. I'm telling you, man. I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong.
If they win game 3, I think maybe he doesn't show up game 4.
Maybe.
But
if they lose game 3, the problem is that's his decision to make. It's not the team's. It's not Kerr's. It's not anybody else's.
Yeah, it's just up to him. It's up to him. No, I'm with you. I think, I like what I've seen from the Raptors. They've got to be able to score, right? They have these games where they cannot hit the broadside of a barn. And
it was awful.
Game
2 was awful.
That third quarter drove me nuts. They were up by 12 points late in the second quarter, and the Warriors get it down to 5, and then they go on. Between the second and third quarter, it was like a 20-0 run.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, all right, you brought that up. For 4 years now, at least 4, it might be 5 years now, we've watched the Warriors do this. They lead the world. They lead the world in third quarter domination. Okay. Yeah. It's not close how much they outscore teams in the third quarter. At some point in time, do we have any kind of footage whatsoever to say, hey, when we come out after halftime, they do something defensively totally different than what they've been doing the first 2 quarters. So we need to completely change our offense. You can't say, oh, we're up by 12, so what we're doing works. When you have this book that tells you the way they guarded you in the first 2 quarters is not going to be how they're going to come out. Literally, Kerr is doing Bill Belichick stuff back there. They're getting into halftime. They're seeing the offense that you're running. And if you come out and try to run that same offense, they're going to shut you down. And they've done it for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, their defense is awesome in the third quarter.
Not smart enough to say, I got a 12-point lead, but we got to change what we're doing. Because if we come out doing the same stuff that got us a 12-point lead, we're going to lose. They're going to catch up. It's what they do.
No, but here's the thing. They did the same thing in game 1 and were able to hold the lead, right?
They're only able to hold because Siakam kept scoring.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop him, and that's it. The problem is if that person's not going to step up and do that, you still should change whatever you're doing. At least defensively, know they're going to come out totally different offensively.
Yeah.
So I just be prepared for anything and don't fall into the, well, whatever worked in the first half will work in the second half, because we got 5 years, not 5 games, not 5 weeks.
It's 5
years of tape to say they dominate third quarters. So I have to be prepared for something different.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
And I don't know what that is. I'm not a basketball expert.
Well, the other side of this is, look, it definitely hurts you even more so when you can't make anything on the other end.
That's it.
And with Kawhi being injured, they need another person to be able to go and get a basket, right? Whether
That's
it's going
why game
to,
1 mattered, is Siakam was able to keep scoring. Even though they brought the game back tight, when they needed the big basket, Siakam was able to score. If anybody can do that, if anybody can help out, then that will keep those leads from shrinking to nothing.
The reason game 1, so Siakam in game 1 was great, but also Marc Gasol hit a few shots early. I mean, he had 20 points for the game.
Mark was fantastic in that game.
But in game
Mark
2,
was fantastic.
Game 2, Mark misses his first 2 shots, and then he doesn't shoot again until like the third quarter.
I mean, he was a liability in game 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
would have been better if he wasn't on the court, and that sucks.
That's what Grizzlies fans screamed for years, right? Marc Gasol. They needed him to be the best player on the team. He is much more comfortable with being in a reserve role.
That's right.
And he's always been like that. He'd much rather just be like the secondary option.
That's
and
right. And here he could be the third option. Exactly. If Lowry could get out of his ass, he could be the fourth option.
And well, now Fred VanVleet,
Van Fleet's played a great game.
Man, that guy was unbelievable.
he's had 3 or 4 big games, because those last couple of games against Milwaukee were
he was on out there.
Pretty good too.
He was on another level.
That dude has made a name for himself.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, it's crazy to think about. Like, he was on that Final Four team for Wichita State.
I know.
But he went undrafted.
And then what you call it? Not Dan Wetzel. Pat Forty. Pat Forty wrote an article about this, talking about how I watched this guy in the Final Four. I was completely and utterly blown away that he got undrafted.
Yeah,
I know this kid can play. Just give him minutes, give him a chance, give him an opportunity.
Oh yeah, he's made a name for himself in Toronto.
This is not new, and he's finally had an opportunity on a big stage.
Now you got that right. All right, so game 3 in that series is on Wednesday, so that's tomorrow night. I'll talk about some picks and whatnot tomorrow. Let's move on to topic number 3. Gerald McCoy signs with the Carolina Panthers. Now, Bruce Arians came out. He said he's not as disruptive as he used to be. The Bucks gave his number 93 jersey to their new signee, Ndamukong Suh. All this stuff came out, and of course he said, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Tampa Bay 2 times a year." Of course I am. What kind of player would I be if I wasn't? Baker Mayfield came out and he didn't talk trash, but he just said, "You're either with us or you're against us."
Yeah, he did the road show where he went to Baltimore and he went to Cleveland and he finally ended up signing with the Panthers.
He wanted in the division. He wanted to get back at Tampa Bay. Now, does this help out the Panthers? We talked a little bit about his numbers. He only had 28 tackles, and that's solo and assisted last year. He only had 6 tackles for loss, only 21 quarterback hits, 6 sacks, which was his lowest since so he's gone down drastically since 2013.
I was just about to say he had when he was young, he was a monster.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he's kind of a name and a face and a likable guy, and he smiles and he laughs and he jokes, but he just doesn't seem to play hard. The stigma and the knock on him that people from the Bucks talk about are he really, really, really liked being an NFL player. He liked getting paid. He kind of could care less if they won or lost. And Arians got that feeling, and Todd Bowles, same thing. And they were like, I'd rather have somebody less talented but wants to win.
Yeah.
And I think they got somebody more talented, and that guy takes plays off too. But the plays he takes on,
he's much more disruptive.
You know who Suh reminds me the most of? Now, he's not as good as this person was at what they did, but he's like the defensive lineman of Randy Moss. Like Moss took plays off all the time,
but he knew when to get after it.
But when he took one on, nobody in the world could stop him.
You might be right about that.
I mean, he's not going to be Randy Moss, in my opinion, is the second best wide receiver the world has ever seen, and that's only because the numbers Jerry Rice put up just blow me away to this day when I go back and look at them in a world in which they didn't throw the football all over the field.
Ndamukong Suh is one of the smartest guys. Maybe ever. His 1 year deals here recently are pretty smart financially, right?
That's on himself.
Well, and remember, he's the one that went to Warren Buffett and
that's right.
wanted the information on, like, how do I keep this money growing even when I'm done playing?
Yeah, he's a Nebraska guy, and Warren's a Nebraska guy, and they got that tie. But you're right. He's super smart. And, the taking the plays off thing almost doesn't bother me. He's a huge soccer fan, which is one of the reasons he's so disruptive in football is because he has great footwork.
Yeah.
Like the guy played soccer all through high school. Could you imagine him?
300
he wasn't goalie.
Soccer.
Like, could you imagine him coming at you like dribbling the ball?
Oh, Lord.
Oh God, that's a big man with big feet. But no, he's. I mean, that's a soccer thing. Like, hey, we're gonna kick the ball around the corner because we've been running for a while. Let me take a break.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now we're all gonna run together. He'd take 2-3 plays off, hope that they don't come his way. And then he says, all right, I'm going to get the next 2 sacks. Boom, done. Tackle for a loss. Bam.
Yeah. I mean, he's fantastic.
What do you think about Gerald McCoy at Carolina? Are they better with him?
I think they
drastically change that defense.
They really needed some help. I don't know that this was the right way to go, but they brought in some younger guys, and this is more of like a veteran that will play this year. I mean, it's only a 1 year contract, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's all. But all these older guys, that's all they're getting.
Yeah,
that's all they're getting in the end.
So it's a 1 year deal, and he can kind of mentor the younger guys while he's playing. Like, basically, he plays, and they sit over there and watch him, and this is how it's supposed to be done, right? But I think he does have a little fire left. Like, I think he needed something to motivate him.
Probably.
And because at Tampa Bay, he had nothing to play for years.
Oh, no, and that's absolutely right.
It's difficult to get yourself motivated. And Carolina, that's a borderline playoff team. They made the playoffs 2 years ago. They got a chance to be pretty good.
Correct.
If he's got something to play for, I think he's still got plenty in the tank. I mean,
I would like to see him get.
He was drafted in 2010. So he's just now 30 years old. So he's still got stuff left.
Him and Sue came in the same draft.
Yeah.
That was it. They were the 2 big stars of that draft. Sam Bradford went 1, I think, and then those 2 guys went next.
Yep.
There's no quarterback on earth I want to see him just destroy more than Jameis Winston.
That's
just.
I knew that we were going to get to that point.
The only reason I'm in on this is because he's real fired up to play the Bucs. Good, because there's nobody that deserves to get hit in the mouth more than Jameis Winston.
Yep, I think I agree with you.
That'll make me happy. He's not the guy I would want to bring in to groom my young guys. I'll be like, hey, don't worry. Listen to the coaches while he's on the field. Don't worry about him. He's a super nice guy, super likable. I think people love him. He's funny. He seems to be joking and have a positive attitude, but he doesn't have that. I just never see that killer instinct in him when he's on the field. I've just never seen that.
Hey, our buddy Kenneth jumps in. He said, "What's up, guys, on YouTube? We appreciate y'all for watching on YouTube. We appreciate you watching on all these apps, by the way.
Come on.
And so we appreciate you commenting in. But yeah, Gerald McCoy. I think this gives him a little fire. I think the Panthers signing, this was kind of revenge. He knows that division, so of course he's going to feel more comfortable there. And I mean, he's played the Panthers twice every year. He knows kind of how that organization is run. I think it's a good fit. I think this will be good for him. It'll be good for them, and then we'll see what he ends up doing the next year. It
probably is. So Mike Lombardi would call this a progress stopper, though. So like Bill, and he gets this from Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells always hated bringing in older veterans, whatever, because he said we got young guys. And young guys are only going to get better if they continue to play and put them in high competition situations. And then you bring in this veteran, and because of his contract and because of who he is, we got to put him on the field. Now these young guys who are making progress every year, every week, getting better, we got to kind of ho-hum to the veteran. And all of a sudden, these young guys who were doing great start kind of falling away, slipping, not trying hard because they know they've lost their starting spot. They don't have that fight like they had when they were competing against one another. And there's that level. If you look at guys that have come under the Parcells tree, your Belichick's, Mike Zimmer does this. Sean Payton does this a lot. They steer away from bringing in the veterans if they have young guys at that position that they're trying to groom. They don't need the veteran to groom them. They need that guy to learn to be who he's going to be, playing under them.
Yeah. Now, Brian Burns that was their first round draft pick, defensive end out of Florida State. It's not the exact same position, but you bring in somebody like Gerald McCoy, and it's somebody to somewhat mentor the kid, like tell him, hey, this is how we're doing things. And I think it's a good move.
Okay.
It'll be fine. I understand the progress stopper idea, but I don't think that the Panthers were good enough with these younger kids that it warranted not signing this guy that can be a reserve, right?
Being a Browns fan, I'm glad he didn't sign with Cleveland, and I wasn't afraid of him signing in Baltimore. That's just how I felt.
That makes sense.
I could be completely wrong on that. He might wreck the league this year. He might be the old Gerald McCoy from his first couple of years when he was young, had speed, had power, had motivation to get after it because he needed that big contract. And I might be proven wrong, but I'm glad he wasn't on Cleveland because Cleveland does have a bunch of young guys that I don't want to see their progress stop. And I also didn't want I wasn't afraid of him going to Baltimore.
I'm with you. All right, let's talk about the last topic for the day. Khabib Nurmagomedov is back September 7th, UFC 242 in Abu Dhabi against Dustin Poirier, or Poirier, however you want to say it. Lightweight Championship. I'm excited about it. They said that Khabib has got a new fat contract. Do you think Khabib is worth the contract?
He's only as good as the people he can fight. Like, if he fights guys and just beats the brakes off of them real fast and they're not good fights, then he's not a star. It's not fun to watch, and people are going to quit watching his fights.
Well, and he said he's not fighting in Vegas anymore. So
you really need. Why is that, though?
He thinks that they did him wrong.
Yeah, they did him wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is ridiculous. So like, he'll still fight in New York. He'll fight, in LA.
I don't really care where he fights, but it just his contract is only going to be as good as the people he fights. If he could ever get McGregor involved in something again, then
he's not interested in fighting McGregor, and that's what makes it so weird to me. Is he good enough on his own without McGregor? Did he make enough of a name for himself with all this mess that people are going to want to pay for his fights?
Well, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
The casual public knows who he is whatsoever. And the other thing is once again, if he can have some great epic fights that he gets to showcase himself in, but it's just a really good overall fight, then yeah, you could absolutely make a name for yourself and come up the ranks. The problem is I don't know what those guys look like in UFC.
Between Tony Ferguson and Cowboy Cerrone, you're going to need some names that mainstream people tend to know, and there's not a ton of them, right?
No,
but on top of that, you're going to have to be a fun fight to watch. Like, people love McGregor because he stands up and strikes. He's a boxer in an MMA ring. Like,
he would stand up and strike. He would drop his hands and taunt you. Like, he understood the art of putting on a show.
Yeah, people love it.
He got that this is an entertainment.
And so let's talk about McGregor then, because neither one of them has fought since October 6th, 2018.
I was about to say, it's been a while.
It's been a little while, and nothing has been announced for McGregor. Obviously, he's got his proper 12 whiskey and everything. He doesn't really need this anymore. But he claims that he wants to fight. Like, he retired, but then he's still training and working out. He's every other day it seems like he's getting on and challenging somebody. So, like, he challenged Mayweather to a rematch, called him, like, Juan Manuel Mayweather. Like, just ridiculous, right? So, I'm not sure what is the UFC worth if they don't have McGregor and if their biggest star is a guy that specializes in wrestling. Like, is boxing in contention to possibly overtake them with these big names like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr., all these other, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Even with the loss, Joshua is still like a huge star.
Well, right now, listen, Anthony Ruiz in America is a huge star.
Right now,
he's every American's like hero. Correct. Right now, that's just it. Every guy watching this stuff, unless you're like a legit boxer, like you're watching it saying, "Man, I'm with that guy. I'm with that guy. Come on, let's go. Let's beat him again."
There was an MMA guy just like this, but you remember Roy Nelson? Roy Nelson had like really long brunette hair, but was just a fat dude. But he whooped up on people in the octagon. Now he ended up getting beat a few times.
Yeah,
but
that happens.
Man, he was on like a winning streak early on. He was in the Ultimate Fighter, but he won I think like his first 10 matches.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
he was on the year the Kimbo Slice was on.
Is that right?
I think so.
It might be.
There was a big fat guy that fought Kimbo several times and beat him.
Yeah, Roy Nelson was awesome. Just awesome. But yeah, and he stayed around for forever. Like, his nickname was Big Country.
That was it. That's it.
So yeah, he let's see, I'm looking him up right now. He started out, 6-0. Then he gets to the UFC. He beat Brendan Schaub, like in the Ultimate Fighter heavyweights finale. Mm-hmm. So he beats Brendan Schaub. He beats Stefan Struve. And then he loses to Junior Dos Santos, loses to Frank Mir. But then he beats Mirko Krokop, who at the time, back in 2011, was like big name. But man, he fought forever. Like all the way up until, Lord, he had a fight in February this year with Bellator. So he's still doing it. But yeah, it's like the American dream. It's like, I want to go eat McDonald's and Burger King every day and still be able to fight. Like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So Andy Ruiz, he's got like some major marketing opportunities here.
So you and me and our boys from Westlot, we're on a group text, and I fully believe our country needs somebody to help bring us all together. Right now, immigration's a hot topic. I think this is the guy that is right up Trump's alley to say, you know what, we're gonna ease some pain between the Mexican Americans and the Trump people, and we're gonna bring us all together. You know, he's gonna love the McDonald's at the White House that Trump's gonna serve him. This is what I think. I think this guy can help heal America.
You're probably right.
Just bring us all together, man.
You are probably right.
This is the guy. It'd be awesome.
All right, so answer the question then. Is boxing in a position to be able to take over UFC?
But my only hesitation is because there's no one league like UFC that can actually make fights happen.
Well, even UFC has had trouble making the fights happen.
Well, I completely agree with that. But at least they have control over these guys. It's not like they can just go fight for somebody else or whatever.
True.
You don't have stars joining other leagues. That's the issue. I like where boxing's at right now. I really wish there was some way that ESPN and DAZN could just merge, or at least say we're gonna let our fighters fight with you and your fighters fight with us, and every fight you get, we get one back. Somehow,
or make it where now a lot of these are going to end up being pay-per-views.
That's right.
But like Joshua, Deontay Wilder is not signed with anybody. He's like a premier boxing guy. So he's got a loose deal with Showtime, but it's he can still go do whatever he wants to.
You got to find a way to make sure these guys, no matter who their deal is with, we can still get the fights we want. They're all in it to make the sport better, and they understand that instead of getting all the money for this fight, I only get half of it. That's better for everybody. It's better for the game. It's better for the sport.
Now,
if
Tyson Fury ends up beating Deontay Wilder, then you're going to see exactly how this thing is going to work. Because if you end up with a Joshua Fury fight, then you have DAZN and ESPN. And those are the only two that it's going to make like a huge difference.
That's right.
It's like if we are ever going to get a Fury-Joshua fight, that's where the problem arises. Because Wilder can go to DAZN or he can go to ESPN.
Yeah, he can go to either one he wants.
Either one. Now. So on ESPN, it's top ranked, but it's the same thing. Right. So ESPN Plus is getting in the pay-per-view business. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen that.
Like at UFC and whatnot, they're doing some of their pay-per-views on ESPN Plus, and some of the top-ranked stuff is going to be on there as well. So another way for ESPN to make a few more dollars since they are losing subscribers at an alarmingly high rate.
Well, they paid like $1 billion for UFC.
Yeah, I mean, they paid a lot, so you might as well take advantage, right? So I haven't even seen, I guess the Amazon deal is still on for UFC, right?
I have no idea about that.
Like Amazon was doing the pay-per-view stuff for them, along with like the UFC app or whatever, the fight app.
Well, they can't be doing them for ESPN and and Amazon.
I could see that happening, but it was just another way for people to be able to actually order UFC fights because of so many people that are cutting the cord.
Yeah.
Like then you couldn't get the pay-per-views without having cable, right? Well, now it's easier to get the streaming stuff done. So, yeah, it's easy way for people to get these UFC fights. Like I'm looking forward to 238's coming up soon, and I don't even know what the date is, but Tony Ferguson and Cowboy Cerrone are fighting. And
that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, go over to betnow.eu, use promo code WINNING50. You'll get a 50% deposit bonus. Share out the show for us. All of that wonderful stuff. We will be back again tomorrow. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.